want to turn now to my guest. Joining me for this hour, trial attorney Gabriel Sepulveda Sanchez. Gabriel, great to see you. Thanks for being on the show tonight.
Thank you.
All right, so help us understand just how hard what Peterson is trying to do, just how hard is that to get something like this overturned on something like this?
Well, just going back to, we were in trial a few weeks ago, and one of the things that stands out in this case is, as an attorney, you want to get rid of bad jurors. And the fact that this person had a domestic violence history, was been a victim of abuse, that's something you definitely, that's a juror that you definitely are going to try to get rid of for them. And you want to ask those jurors questions as, could you still be fair? Isn't it true that because this person is accused of domestic violence that you cannot be fair to this client? So an attorney is always trying to get rid of bad jurors for them for a cause. And if you can't get rid of them for a cause, then you're going to try to do a peremptory challenge. But that being said, at the end of the day, the question is going to be like, was this a factor that was critical to the outcome of the case? And the prosecution still had to prove beyond a reasonable doubt. And I think at the end of the day, there's 11 more jurors that found against Scott Peterson. So I don't think, he can make a run with this argument, but I don't think there's enough there to get him a new trial in this matter. So it's definitely a juror you wouldn't want on your case, but at the same time, they're going to have to look at it and see what else happened on that juror on that panel. Whether whether the attorneys, questioned during the voir dire process, did they ask different questions? Did they get any sort of information out that could remotely touch that topic of domestic violence? During the voir dire process, you have to ask a bunch of questions and really filter out and get to discover these people. Sometimes they're not going to be apparent. So maybe there are some other questions that they touched on with this juror that could have gave a red flag out, like, hey, we might want to get rid of this person. So I think they got to really go into the transcript and figure it out and see what they asked this person, what they did with the panel in general.
Well, what's important is that, she already took the stand. They gave her immunity in this situation because if she did, in fact, lie on that juror questionnaire, again, those are done under oath. So she would have been in trouble for that. They gave her immunity, and she took the stand and said that, that wasn't her purpose. She said she misunderstood somewhat some of the questions. She didn't think of herself as a victim, et cetera, et cetera. There was some other things that she mentioned that, this was not her purpose, and she did not try to influence anyone unduly. She basically looked at the evidence. That's got to be powerful for this court as well. The fact that she herself is saying that that's not what her purpose was.
I think so. That has to be powerful. And jury questionnaires, they're part of every trial, and people sign, and I don't think people really understand that when they sign, this is under penalty of perjury. And, maybe at the same time, she didn't want that being public record. She didn't want to disclose that. Maybe it wasn't. Who knows? I don't know what the details of that domestic violence charge or that domestic violence incident was. Was there an actual conviction involved? Did she just get in a physical altercation one time? We don't know. So, was there a misrepresentation? Sounds like there was, but was that a huge misrepresentation? Was it just something she just didn't really feel comfortable discussing or putting on the questionnaire? I'd like to know more about that. I still think that the prosecution had a high burden to prove, and they proved it, in my opinion. And attorneys, you have, as a defense attorney, you need to be getting rid of any jurors out there that could potentially be biased against your client. And I've been on those panels where at the first glance, they look like they can be objective, and there might be even a good juror for you. When you start asking those follow-up questions and you get deeper and you're like, whoa, like this person, we need them off our panel. We're going to lose our case with this juror on there.